Okay, so this is a very famous tool. We've had it since my birthday in 2022. Um, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, and it's based on a large language model, which the software people will train uh, with our universe of knowledge, and they keep refining it so that it speaks more and more like a person, and it gives more and more correct answers. And it comes out in a natural language style, and it says here toward a desired length, format, etc. And we're going to get into that. Here's some other tools that are generative AI tools. Truck is also going to talk about Gemini. Yes, here's a few other ones. Um, the official preferred tool at UCR is Gemini because it is a Google product. But I started with ChatGPT before they kind of made this announcement that this is their preferred tool. Um, they both work really well, and Truck and I had a chat off a while back to see who did what, and they're pretty comparable. So we would put the same prompt in and see which one, what kind of responses they gave. I wanted to go really quickly into how to structure a good prompt, and then I'm going to show you some examples. Um, so we have here four things: context, a role, give the AI a role, specify the question or the task you want it to do, and then any formatting, the length, etc. So here's an example of the first one, the context. In the context of learning design, music theory, etc. Here are some possible roles. Okay, just to let you take a look at that. And here's an example of a question, a request for completing some task, outlined for a 2-hour seminar on cybersecurity, blah, blah, blah. So when I use it, I do just put in everything that I think is relevant. So this author put in discuss vulnerabilities, etc. And the last thing is the formatting. So you could ask it to create a summary, a poem, a report. Truck's going to show you could summarize data. You can ask for a lot of different formats. Um, Here's some other little formatting things you could ask it for. You could say what language, excuse me, what grade level. Please write at the 8th grade level, etc. Do not use words that are too big. So here's an example that I did for my department. I don't expect you to be able to read the whole thing, but this was my prompt. It was quite a bit. Imagine you're overseeing an online learning. I try to throw in everything I can think of, R1, extension, and so forth. And then I gave it a lot of things that I want to do. So this was a realistic thing that I was creating for extension. And I put in there, oh, I want to have course reviews and I want to have pedagogy reviews and the things I wanted to do. And it gave me a vision, admission, objectives, and what I might want to do over the next few years. Year 2, year 3, and again, I know I'm doing this very fast, but so it goes through this progression, or we're going to optimize the things that we've built on, in year 1 and 2. And then I said, well, I wonder, and then I highlighted some of the things. That's why some are red. Then I did another one where I said, I didn't give it anything specific. I just said more generic. I just said, this is your job and you're doing a strategic plan. And it actually created a lot of the same things that I would have wanted to do. So that I felt validated, like, okay, I feel like I'm in a good path, that a lot of things I was wanting to do are typical things. I mean, this wouldn't be the only way you would make decisions, but, you know, that's an example. And then another example that we did, I really hated it. So I said, write a 3-person script, da da da. And I thought it was just dorky as heck. Hey, have you heard? We got a new faculty member joining us. It's like, hey, we could put on a show. That's fantastic news. What's their name? I just thought it was so dorky. I just didn't like it at all. So you're always going to use your discernment. You know, you get some output. but you want to always use your own discernment of, well, that doesn't meet my needs, and you could tweak it. I mean, I just threw this away. I could have said, well, uh, put them in a different environment. I could do iterations to change it. Any questions so far on this tool, ChatGPT? It's so quiet. Are y'all out there? Y'all still out there? Okay.
Yes, we're still here.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, Truck, I'm going to pass the baton to you to talk about Gemini.
Yeah, so just give you a quick comparison of what Google Gemini and ChatGPT. Um, Google Gemini is very similar to ChatGPT. ChatGPT was the first player into the generative AI field, but Google have introduced its product too, which is Gemini, and very very similar to it. You're able to ask questions, but in addition to just text with Google Gemini, you could generate images, right? Uh, Even though on the free version you are limited to only a few inquiries, on a daily basis. Like you can't just sit there and just tell it to generate new images every minutes. So it limits for the free user. Another cool things about Gemini is that it's integrated with other Google products such as Google Docs, Google Drive, and then even YouTube. And later on, I'm going to show you why it's so cool that it's integrated like this with YouTube video. Um, and recently, Google Gemini just rolled out a feature called Deep Research, right? And this feature is meant for individual who wanted to create complex research. It literally explore all the web sources out there, website, um, and give you a quite a comprehensive research. And we'll show you a sample of what it looks like. But this is a recent update that Google Gemini has rolled out. ChatGPT also rolled it out. However, it might not be available to the free user for Google Gemini. It is free to the non-paying user, but like I said, it's limited. You could only use it like 5 times a month. But if you pay for the subscription, it's allow you to, generate 20 daily requests, roughly about 20 daily requests. Um, we're going to show you, and we're going to show them what the deep research look like real fast.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay. Do you want to
So
just show our results, Truck,
yeah. So
from
what
the
we
top?
did is we typed in a inquiry about how to support asynchronous online courses in higher education, with a chatbot, like how we could use a chatbot to help, asynchronous courses. And it gave us a thorough, like an executive summary um, with all the pro and con, introduction, and provide us all the sources where it got the information from. So this is an example of what deep research look like. And just for clarification, deep research is not DeepSeek, which is a new product that was launched in China. So deep research is a complex, high level feature that just got rolled out in Gemini and ChatGPT. But as you can see right here, they provide you the sources, and it's like a real report. However, you could always use this as a structure to build your research or have an idea of where to go with your project. But we wanted to share with you this feature that just recently got rolled out with Gemini.
Okay, you want to do the data one now, Truck?
Sure.
Okay.
And other practical ways we could use like Google Gemini. And today we're just gonna focus on Gemini more than ChatGPT. It's because, a Google Gemini, um, it's a recommended product by UCR. So that's why we focus more on it than just ChatGPT. But you could basically do the same thing with ChatGPT and Google Gemini. So one of the practical way where you could use Google Gemini is to extract data from a picture. So if I were to upload a picture of a table, right, from from my own clipping of my data and just a picture of a table, right? I could ask Google Gemini to extract the data and have it ready as a spreadsheet for me, rather than me retyping all everything on that picture into a spreadsheet format. Here we are. We could ask it to you know put it in text format, and you just copy and paste it into your spreadsheet. So that's just a very efficient way for you to transfer data from a picture into a spreadsheet format, right? And as you can see, N created here, and it's in the
Yeah,
CSV
from the picture.
format. Everything is extracted from a picture, right? And then we're going to show you another example of how we could use um, Google Gemini in our daily, routine, how it could improve, our work activity. So another way is that, there could be a lengthy video, like a 30-minute YouTube documentary that you wanted to check out, but you don't have time and you just want to, have a quick summary of what to talk about. So you get the URL of the YouTube video and you put it into, Google Gemini and ask it if it could generate a summary for you. And this is the benefit of how like Google's and Google Gemini and other Google products work cohesively. So it's in the same family, so it talks to each other. It might be harder if you put in a YouTube video and ChatGPT and tell it to give you a summary, because sometimes it's not in the same family product, so it doesn't have that cohesiveness. All right. And then the next example, and if there's an article that just got published and you don't have time to read it and you just want a quick summary of it, you would just get the link of the article and put in, Google Gemini, tell it to give you a summary and bullet points. It'll do that for you. It breaks down all the key points from that article and give it to you on the fly. And, later on, if you have time, you could go back to the articles and read it more thoroughly. But if time is of the essence, this is a quick way for you to digest information and get ready for a meeting or, something like that. So, when you use any AI tool, it's always to keep in mind, security and privacy, right? And AI, is a public tool. Any AI out there, your information is public. So when you use it, try not to use personal information, any classified or confidential information, especially when you do research or anything like that. If you are involved with a research, um, reach out to UCR IT, Information Technology Department, where they will give you a thorough, sets of instruction on how to implement AI in your research.
The other thing, Truck, would be any student data.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. You don't
uh,
want to share any student data.
absolutely, because these tools are public. All right, next slide.
Okay, this one is mine. And first of all, though, any questions or comments on Gemini?
Um, I've used it and I prefer it over ChatGPT um, to develop, well, to enhance my outreach emails to potential clients. Like I'll write it in my words, right? Or in my, how I write it in my style.
Yeah.
And I'll just put it into Gemini and say, hey, make me sound a little bit more engaging, whatever, right? And it does it. And if I don't like it, I tell it I don't like it. Try it again. No, like I just tell them do it again, or I'm not gonna feed the cats. I just mess around with it. Um, and it does, and it says, oh, please don't forget to feed the cats. Like it's really funny. Sometimes you have these little interactions with it because I heard from someone else you can do that kind of stuff. Like,
Do
hey,
what kind of stuff?
do this right, or I'm gonna give the cats a bath and they don't like baths or whatever kind of little urgency.
Okay.
Mhm.
And it plays around back with you. It was really funny because but anyway, so I've used it for that. And of course, um, used it as well for condensing, like, what was it, a 30-page article that somebody sent me. I was like, I do not have time to read a 30-page article, so I just uploaded it. And it was something that's available online anyway, so it wasn't like it was a private, articles like,
Yeah, good.
yeah.
Good point.
So, yeah, everything you guys said about Gemini is great. And I even messed around one time and I said, okay, make my email and make me sound like I'm a surfer from Southern California. And,
Hey,
and it did. And it
hey.
was really funny. Obviously, I
Mhm.
didn't send it out, but like me and Daisy had a good laugh with it.
I grew up
Uh,
with those kids, man.
huh?
Oh my
No,
gosh, that's really funny. Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
it made me sound like a Ninja Turtle,
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so the next section, kind of getting into the teaching world, pros and cons, kind of what we talked about, increased efficiency, productivity, data analysis, fear of job displacement, um, absence of intuition. Are we going to become stupid, right? Are we going to become stupid and not know how to do things anymore? Security, like Truck mentioned, inaccurate information, that has happened. Big one is plagiarism. Instructors feeling like they have to police it. Bias. So ChatGPT is just based on all the information that humans have created, which is biased already, right? So it can be biased. So you may need to put things like, say, if you're a literature on teacher, you may say, please create a preliminary list of authors, including authors of color, or something like that, to make sure it represents what you think is the proper representation. Um, okay. Next thing is the syllabus. So we did put some language about AI use in our current updated syllabus. And by the way, like I said, I'm going to send you everything, so I'll send you the most recent one just to make sure you know which one. Oh, here it is. Clarify. So do you see right here? Clarify your use of AI tools. So you should choose. So you don't want to leave it as is, right? So you choose. Um, we may use them. Um, this would be more limited, all the way to no use. You're not allowed to. So you could make that decision. And Truck and I are available to discuss this with you further as well. And then the other thing for on the teaching side, of course, is citation. And I'll give you this slide deck. And this is a guide of how to cite AI in the MLA style. And then this main campus has created a page called AI in the Classroom. And that one talks about, I believe it has APA citations, etc. So when I send you this slide deck, you can look at these and you could work with your students to show them how to properly cite. Okay, and then I have the next one. I'm very excited to show you. Let's go back. So on the topic of um, how to put your AI in the syllabus or use of AI in the classroom so far or citation, any comments or questions on that? I know it's kind of a big subject. Any comments or questions? Anything you want to share? Should we keep going? Okay, we'll keep going. So this lovely thing. So I have two kind of, I will call them prompt repositories. They are ways to help you to create educational products. So for example, the first one was I'm in a group, it's a really nice group. It's UC-wide instructional designers. And so we're the people that we care about pedagogy and technology and supporting instructors and stuff like that. So this person, Dominic Slauson, is at UC Irvine, and he created this lovely repository, and he said we can share it. So, and this is only part of it. I just took a little capture. So when I click on it, it's a Google Doc. He has even more. So if you take a look, so rubric generator, content summarizer, data interpreter, let's keep going, Socratic tutor. What he does is he creates some really nice prompts, and some of them have more than one pass through. So he creates a prompt and then you respond, and it may ask you more questions and keep you engaged. Like, for example, the rubric one. Well, how many levels do you want? It may ask you more questions. So I thought this was really cool. Now, with these devil's advocate role play, okay, and then when you scroll down, it's just a Google Doc. What you have to do though is copy the prompt into ChatGPT or Gemini. So I'm going to do an example, and I have some notes here. Hopefully I can find them quickly. Yeah, there we are. So the first one I'm going to do is, this is from Stephanie Lacroix. I don't think she's on the call, but I just grabbed something from her, one of her courses. Okay, Foundations of English Language Development. And so she has a description of an assignment. So I'm gonna capture that. Oh, actually, the first thing I have to do is I have to go back to this guy. And I'm going to click on Rubric Generator. And Dominic has created a prompt for me. So it's a few steps. So I have to grab this. And I have to put it into ChatGPT. Okay. I have it open. So I put it in there. And now it's going to help me make something. Okay. Please provide the information regarding your assessment, and I will create a rubric for you. Okay. And now I have to go back to my document. There we go. And I'm going to copy Stephanie's assignment. Oh my goodness, I have too many things open. ChatGPT, right? Okay. And I'm going to put in the description of the assignment. And it creates a rubric. So rubrics always have a criteria, that's the row, and then the levels of proficiency are the columns. And so 4 is the highest. I'm going to scroll down a little bit so you get to the bottom. So it created 4 different kind of levels, excuse me, kind of criteria of that is looking for vocabulary, scaffolding, use of background knowledge, etc. And then it has these columns of how well did the student do. And so you could export this and then use it in your class. And of course you can tweak it. You can say, oh, well, that's too verbose, whatever, but it's a good start. So this lovely document, I'm going to send it to you. Sorry, that's the wrong one. This guy. And I thought it was kind of just a simple, brilliant idea of creating these really nice chats. Some are very long, that help you to create educational products that you would have to create anyway, like learning objectives, discussions, etc. Any questions so far on that? Do you kind of get how that works? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and just want to put some emphasis on one of those prompts. There are actually courses out there that teaches people how to become like prompt engineer when it comes to
Yes.
creating these prompts. So if you have the right prompts, it could create quite a rich product for you.
Did I shut down the slide deck truck?
Uh, yes, yeah, you
Okay,
close down the
okay.
slide deck. Okay,
I
yeah.
will bring it back up. Sorry about that, you guys. Trying to clean up my act here. Let me find it
But just
again.
just to bring things back to perspective to what Anne was saying earlier, how she mentioned that assigning a role to the AI, uh, give it like a narrow down, concentrated um, function to generate the content for you. In the rubrics, that example that she just did earlier, she told it to be a specialist when it comes to creating rubrics. And by narrowing it down like that, the AI tool is able to concentrate its research or data set to generate out the most relevant products for your inquiry. So always keep that in mind when you interact with a generative AI tool, to give it a role and have the right prompts. With the right combination, your result will be more fine-tuned. Because if you don't, you just go in and just said, give me something. It give you general stuff rather than more specific information.
Okay. Thanks, Truck. Sorry
Absolutely.
about that, guys. I was shutting things down. We're showing you so much stuff. Shut down the slide deck. Can you all see the slide deck now?
Hmm.
Okay. So the next thing I want to show you is also a prompt repository, but it's a commercial product. It's called Khanmigo. It's Khanmigo. It's from Khan Academy. It is an instructor-facing tool. There is also a student-facing tool, and I'm actually reading the guy's book. He wrote a book on AI, which pretty much talks about Khanmigo, the student-facing one. But you can see here, so this is a capture of it, but I'm going to go ahead and go in. Hopefully I'm still logged in. I logged in earlier. Yes, I am. Okay, good. So I'm working with Main Campus to integrate this into Canvas, but right now it is not, but you can still get a free account. So these are the tools that they have. So it says all tools, or you can, find these categories: planning, creating, differentiating, so forth. So it's similar to the other UCI tool I showed you, in that you can create educational products, discussion prompts, a lesson hook, learning objectives, a letter of recommendation. They have a lot of different things, and they have some cool things that let you scale. So maybe you have a lesson for, I mean, our audience probably wouldn't have. Well, it may be you teach a basic beginning class and you've been asked to teach a more advanced class. You could ask it, well, you take my syllabus and come up with some ideas for a more advanced class. So this tool is good for that, they call it leveling, of bringing things up and down. I'm going to give you an example. This is one of my favorite topics, is discussion prompts. And I'm going to find an example from Homa. Let's see here. Oh, this is actually, okay. So Homa is one of our instructors. Some of you may know her. So I grabbed one of her topics here. Because I've been playing around with this tool, of course. So her class is called Motivating, Managing, and Developing Others. And one of her learning objectives is choosing the best motivator to achieve performance goals. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it into Khanmigo and see what it comes up with. So it says, what is the grade level? And it's college. So they do a lot of work with younger students. And I'm just going to paste in what I copied, and I'm going to click on Start. Okay, let's see what it came up with. It came up with quite a few ideas. Explore the role of intrinsic and extrinsic motivator. And this is 3 different questions. How do intrinsic motivators differ from intrinsic motivators in terms of effectiveness? Or this one, how do different leadership styles influence employee motivation? Now, my thing is, I would love for you guys, if you did something like this, to allow the student to speak into it from their own personal experience. That's what I like discussions to do. So you might say something like, let's look at the first one. How do intrinsic differ from extrinsic? Can you give an example from either your academic life or your work life of where you were given either an intrinsic or extrinsic, so that they can show that they really understand it, and also so that it's their own and no one's going to copy it because they didn't have that life experience. So they've given us 9 different prompts from just that one learning objective. So that's an example from Khanmigo. I'll give you in our slide deck, we'll have the link to it so that you can create your own account if you want to play around with it. Are there any questions about Khanmigo? Okay, you all still out there? I'm kind of getting nervous here. You still there? I see there's a lot of people logged in. Okay. No comments or questions?
Everybody's actively listening.
Okay, good. Okay, Truck, I'm going to pass the ball over to you.
Okay. So our goal today is just to bring all these new AI tools that are being introduced are slowly being introduced to the regular tools that we are currently using. Like for example, Canvas, right? It's a tool that we already familiar with, but these companies are slowly infusing little AI, nuggets into the tool so we could enhance our productivity, right? So one of the tool in Canvas, AI tool in Canvas is called the AI summary feature for this discussions. So what it does is that, when you start a discussion in Canvas and then student reply to it, they interact on that the topic. And now there's an AI summary feature. You could go in there as a teacher and click on it, and it will summarize all the interaction that the student have posted on there. It will give you a quick summary, an outline of what the student talked about, and you could use that information to bring it up to the next class meeting.
Yep.
Based on your discussions, these are the things that you care about, or you don't care about, or these are the things that we should explore, right? So as you can see, the AI is slowly being integrated to the tools that we are already familiar with. To it, yeah. So go ahead, Ann.
Well, and one thing that's kind of hard about discussions is how do you participate? So some instructors may reply to certain people. Um, they may wonder if it gets lost. When I was teaching online, sometimes I would just respond to the person in the grading, the speed grader. But one thing I used to like to do is kind of summarize the discussion in announcements, especially in terms of kind of congratulating students. Oh, you really understood this point, or, I think some of you are getting confused between this and this. So you can use that summary to create your own summary, to put an announcement, or at the very end of the discussion, or part of your lecture later. It's like, hey, everyone did really well on this, whatever. Okay, on to you, Truck.
Go ahead. Yeah. So if you in your Canvas, there's a little button that say, summarize the discussion. Well, first you go to the discussion section, and then there's a button that says summarize. If you click on it, it will generate the summary for you of that discussion. So as you can see here on the top right, that's the button. At the bottom, it's the generated summary of what the student is talking about. All right, next slide. And then another tool that we use on a daily basis, where AI is being infused into it too, is Zoom, right? So if you conduct a class, you have the capability now to create a summary of the discussion of what you talked about during that meeting. And it's a feature that you need to turn on in the at the web portal, and I'll show you it right here. But the benefit here is this. Let's say a student missed a class and everything discussed during the meeting, she didn't, she wasn't there to listen to it, or you forgot to record. But you turn on the AI meeting summary, and at the end of the meeting, the platform will send it to you, a summary of what you talked about, and you could share that with the students who weren't there for the class, right? Or just for record keeping, and I'll tell you how you could use it at a higher level later on down the road, right? At the end of this presentation. But to turn it on, you basically go to your UCR.zoom.us web portal, and then from there, go to Setting, and then go to AI Companion, and go to the next slide, Ian. And then you turn on this feature called Meeting Summary with AI Companion. And then you could tell it to just send it only the host or send it to everybody, right? But I just recommend send it to the host, and you could filter it before you share it with your audience.
It's
So
not
this is
perfect. I would say the meeting's summary is not 100% perfect. Like it's worth reviewing before you send it out. That's my
however it's a tool that's available
It's good.
for
No, it's
free.
good.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
free, where you could implement it to enhance your current activity and help your students. All right, next slide, Ian. All right, now we're gonna come to this topic is called the virtual teaching assistant, right? Now, this is something that Ann and I have been working in the background, trying to come up with ways, research, come up with ways where we could help our instructors and students. That's our highest priority. So, when it comes to teaching assistant, if in a normal case, if you were to teach at a university and you have 300, a webinar, a seminar where there's like 100 student plus, that you would have multiple teaching assistants to help you because it's such a big audience, right? So when we come across this topic, we're thinking about having a chat bot, but a chat bot is just such a term that we wanted to change. So we want to call it a virtual teaching assistant. So imagine there is a virtual assistant that's available for your class specifically, right? To answer any common questions or to explain complex information to your student on the fly. And this come in very handy for asynchronous courses, right? You're teaching a course where you don't meet with the student, but the student, and the student at a UCR Extension or non-traditional student, they do homework at odd hour, right? They work during the day, they do homework at night. So, well, the instructor is not going to be available at 11 p.m. to answer the question. So by having this virtual teaching assistant, it could provide immediate common answer to the student if the student wanted to ask, right? So what is this virtual teaching assistant? Well, it's a tool that's based on Google and it's called Google NotebookLM. And it's an AI-powered research tool that is trained on custom data sets. So he's the key component that sets us apart, right? So ChatGPT, Google Gemini, that's based on the knowledge, around the world on the internet, right? It's go out there and gather all this information, right? And it could create some kind of hallucination sometimes when the sources are not accurate, right? But with Google Notebook LM, you could train it on custom data sets, meaning you could train it based on your course syllabus, frequently asked questions from students that asked you in the prior quarter, and you thought it was helpful and you wanted to share with the student for this quarter, handouts, articles, videos that are related only to your class. So you kind of narrow it down, right? You kind of shrink it down to only your class rather than the big wide world, right? By doing that, the content is more relevant to the student. Right? As an instructor, it acts as a teaching assistant to answer questions for your student during odd hour where the student, will do their homework or do their research, right? Because the whole idea of, taking a class online is to have the freedom to digest the material, study the content when you're not busy, right? So this is where it comes in. For the student.
Can I make a comment, Truck?
Yep.
And when Truck says train, it's simply uploading. So he's using the right word, but it's like you don't have to program it or anything. You just upload the sources. And so imagine you're teaching us some course and you have a certain theory that you are trying to promote. It will only look at the theory that you've put in your content versus, sometimes when you use ChatGPT or Gemini, it'll say things like, well, some people say this and some people say this. It's not been, it's they hedge a lot because there's not the official proper theory sometimes. But with this, it's what you have curated for your students. And some of you may have written articles or your own slides or whatever it is. It's very specific to the way you want to teach the course. Should I move?
And it's not as cumbersome or overwhelming as you think, that it would be to create this teaching assistant. It's actually pretty simple. You just share with us your handouts or any materials that you would want to use for your course, and then we upload it to the tools, and then it will scan through it, parse through it, and that's it. Actually, it's quite pretty simple.
Should I launch it, Truck?
Yeah, launch it, and then we'll see what it looks like, okay? So basically, we implemented in this course called Crime Scene Investigation, right? And here's a page that tells the student what it's about, right? And then the student could use it by clicking on the link that's available, right? Go ahead and click on the link in. And we kind of, share some of the prompts that the student could use. The student might be thinking like, what is this about, right? But once they try it, they will see the benefit of it, right? Like you could try like, how do I contact my instructor? Let's say this is like 2 a.m. And then the student is like, how would I? What are the ways to contact my instructor, right? So if you upload the appropriate materials, it will um, generate the correct information based on your uploaded materials. In this case, it gather information straight from the syllabus, not from the web, and share it with the student, right? And it's going to generate another prompt right here.
What's the first thing I do when I used to watch CSI? I love CSI. What is the first thing I do when I come upon a crime scene?
So as you can see right here, right, it points to the source. It will tell you that it got this answer or this information from a source, which is an article that you uploaded, right? It doesn't randomly pick out an article out there from the web and say, oh, based on this, right? It's narrowed down to only your class information.
Can I do the
So
next one, Truck?
yeah. So here's an example and create to benefit the student, right? Create an outline for week 1, right? So students learn differently. Some is a good reader, right? Some it's more about visual, and some is just one piece of information at a time. In this case, the student just used the tool to create an outline, right? Give it a structure, the fundamental, and then the student could slowly get more into the specific articles about the class content. And it also has some suggestions right here near the bottom, as you can see. Yep. So yeah, it's just a way to engage your student, promoting more interaction between you, the student, and the course materials. And it saves quite a lot of time. If common questions, let's say you have a lot of questions that were asked by your student from the previous quarter. And every quarter, the same student, I mean, not same student, but the student keep on asking that same, question over and over again. So what you could do is write down all those questions, write down the answer, and then if that question comes up again, the teaching assistant will just say, based on the frequently asked question from your instructor, this is the information. So save you a ton of email, right? Back and forth, something that asked over and over again, right? So that's where the efficiency and the productiveness come into play, right?
Any questions about how this works?
So
You know what I want to make sure we do, Truck, is we capture who's here today.
Yeah, I did.
So
And
that,
I think,
did you capture?
somebody, yeah, I think
good.
somebody asked a question. Did somebody ask a question? What did they ask a question?
so you just go into Canvas, and this is in our Canvas setup.
Are you talking about specifically about this virtual teaching assistant?
Yes.
Oh, reach out to us because we have to. Is this Charlie?
Yes.
Yeah, you reach out to us, right? And let us know that you wanted to use this tool for your class, and we'll set it up for you.
Okay.
Basically, reach out to us, tell us who you want to use, and then we'll ask you what materials you wanted to to upload to this tool, and then we'll do everything for you. Basically, you just give us information, we'll arrange it, organize it, and it will be available in your course, and you could test it out before publishing it. And see how relevant or how helpful it is for your class.
Okay.
So yeah, the whole idea is to make it as easy as possible for an instructor. Back in the day, having a chatbot available for an organization is costly and it's time consuming. But we've done a research, and with the evolution of how technology have come to come about, it's so simple, so easy for us to harness these innovation and adopt it and use it in a way where it's beneficial.
So I put Truck's email in the chat. I mean, we're gonna write to you, but I also put it in chat.
This is AR. So sorry, one question again about the virtual teaching. So if we opt in for that, that's going to be on Canvas, like the students would ask via Canvas, or is it a separate program?
No, so Anne, can you go back to the course example?
Yeah.
Great question. Great question. Feel free to ask. Like we're here for you. So what we did was we create a page, and you could have it under one of your module, right? Your first module for week 1. And here's a sample, right? We say that, hey, we put together this tool for you to um, improve your research with activities for this class, and you click on it. Well, we have to add the user, right? You have to allow the user, so it's not public, right? Whoever wanted to join it, we have to add it into the tool, and those are the ones that have access to it. And once they're in, they could ask questions like explain a complex topic for me from this course, right? So. But we do all that for you. You just let us know what you want and how you want it to use it, and then we'll take care of it for you from there.
Yeah, we could even pull all your resources from the course.
Oh, and going back, you know how that tool that I was telling you earlier about AI summary in your course discussion and AI Zoom summary? Well, if you export it as a document, we could actually upload it here, and it become a more knowledgeable teaching assistant to answer the question based on anything that you've uploaded to it. So it all comes into play, right? Like all these little things, we centralize it to here, and the whole idea is to help you and the student have a better experience.
So, Truck, we have about 5 minutes left. I know you have
Yeah.
some more stuff here on AI in media.
So with all these changes and new introduction of tools, we made a quick summary of all the tools that are helpful in the 3 areas of graphics and audio and video, right? So with graphics,
Some of the tools.
right, some of the tools, like,
Some of the tools.
like next week you'll probably see more tools, right? Because
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
how a crazy AI have changed. But some of the tools that I've used and other people have used is Midjourney, Dolly, Canva, Leonardo AI. These are very popular tools. Some of them might be free. Some of them you have to pay a fee for it, depending on your situation. But try it out. These are terms that these are software that are popular in that area. So as far as audio, the little activity that we did in the very beginning with the rooster, the AI, the birds, I use a tool called 11 Labs, right? And it's free for a limited session, right? It's always like that, right? They always have a freemium model where it's free for you to try, and then you want to use it, you have to pay. As far as video, these are some of the cool tools that are available out there, where if you're creating a little presentation for your class, you could just give it an article, pick out some pictures, and it'll put together a short video clip for you. So we're going to share with you a little segment that we created from a tool called Lumen 5. We're going to play that audio real fast in. There's a lot of tools that we are discussing today. However, in the future, we'll create more advanced
require instructors to write learning objectives, which include observable actions that the students will be able to do as a result of the lesson. Observable words include write, analyze, create, etc. Rather than words like understand and appreciate, and then in the lesson.
Yeah. So the whole idea.
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Now this is I use this tool for a project I did for USAID, and so I gave it the script, and I did give it some graphics, and then it has this whole this is Lumen 5. This has a whole library of what they might call B-roll, like people raising their hands and talking and stuff, and it assembles it pretty quickly, and it generates the voice. You can pick from different kind of voices, and then you can modify it. So that was Lumen 5.
Do we have to worry about copyright on that? Anything that we're pulling down from that?
No, so that was a paid one. So if you use it, you have the right to use it. It's sort of like buying a graphic library.
Okay.
If you use it, then they're giving you the right to use those things. And I was on a team where our project manager purchased it, and obviously the video is still working. I never purchased it myself. He purchased it for our team. Now, if I were to want to go and change it now, I'd have to go purchase it again. So,
Anne, I have a quick question for you. You mentioned that UCX is encouraging us to use Google instead of a ChatGPT. Now, I know that there's a basic free version. Is this, if we want the more advanced version, is this something that is going to be provided to us, or do we have to purchase it on our own?
for Gemini?
Yeah, for Gemini. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
that's okay. So, Truck, what did you find on that with Gemini?
Yeah, so with your email, right, that you have a UCR email, it's linked
Mhm.
to the Google, account. So
Right.
right now we all have the free version, right? Maybe in the future, and I'm very hopeful about this, right? Maybe in the future, the main campus will sign a contract with Google and give it
Okay.
to all instructors. But as of this moment, we only have the free version.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Well,
Of
thanks for
course.
the question. We have a couple minutes. Are there any other questions that people have? What other questions do you have? I actually got a message from my supervisor. I'll share it with you guys. She said, someone reached out to me. We are not advised to turn on the AI in Zoom meetings for security risk reasons. So that came to you and me, Truck,
Mhm.
just now. The Zoom summary the AI summary in Zoom. They actually do not want us to use that, which I was not aware of. So,
And sorry, this is Monica.
yeah.
Um, you you might want to reach out to Dave and just double check with him because the
Okay.
last time we talked about AI, I mentioned Zoom AI in one of our last meetings, all staff, or I don't know if it was all staff or some another meeting that we had on site,
Uh-huh.
and they were like, no, don't activate it. And I was like, why? I mean, if it's there, why not? And he said because you don't know what else they're combing, even though we know that Google, the reason campus went with Google was because they don't save the content on
Okay.
their platform. We don't know that about Zoom. And so
Oh, I see.
that's where there was hesitation. So,
Okay.
but if campus has it activated, you'd think it's okay to use, right? But I think it's worth asking
Okay, I
Dave
will.
one more
Thanks for
time
asking.
just to
I'll
see
ask.
what he thinks.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Okay, any
sharing,
other
Mike.
questions? We're just about at the end of time. Any other questions? Comments? Okay, Truck, you captured everybody. You know
Will we have, John said, will we have update on meet as a group periodically to stay current and stay out of trouble?
Oh, would you
John,
like to?
yeah, great question, John. Yeah, we
That's a
tend
good
to,
idea.
we plan to make more webinar like this and share with you more topics that in the field, of education to enhance your activity. Yeah, we'll have that in the future, and we'll definitely invite you, John.
You can be the chairman.
Yeah.
We're definitely also going to send you a survey about use of AI in education. Just whatever you don't have to be an expert in it, but I'd like you to fill out the survey so we can kind of help you out. I feel like we should close. Anything else? Anything else we want to talk about?
Yeah, if you have any question after this webinar and you want to just to talk and discuss, email me or Ann. We'll be more than happy to elaborate and assist you in anything that you want to try. Because AI is it's scary sometimes, but
Yeah.
we're here for you. We will be a sidekick and we'll kick some butt.
All right, I put my email in the chat too. And Royu is on our team, so if you get an email from her and you forget how to reach us, you can reach her or your programmer. We're all in the same family. So, all right, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And I think we'll close the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, John. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Let me stop recording.
Yeah, you can stop the recording. I'll stick around a little bit.
Did you stop recording?
No, it's still recording.
Oh, okay.